Donald Trump abruptly ran out of a infrastructure meeting following a press conference that Nancy Pelosi had. Apparently what she said during this press conference, which we're about to show you, really upset him.
We do believe that it's important to follow the facts. We believe that no one is above the law, including the President of the United States, and we believe that the President of the United States is engaged in a cover-up,
So right before the meeting, she has that press conference. She accuses Donald Trump of engaging in a cover-up, and then they're about to have this infrastructure meeting. They get together to have the infrastructure meeting. It did not last long. It lasted about 5 minutes and he abruptly walked out. According to reports, Trump was visibly angry when he arrived in the cabinet room about 15 minutes late to meet with Pelosi and Schumer. He did not shake hands or sit down, and after accusing Pelosi of saying something terrible, he headed out without allowing time for a response.
Okay, guys, just pause there. I mean, this is literally what kids do. I'm taking my ball and going home. Adults, including, I should hope, the President of the United States, sit down, even if it's their adversaries. And think about this. Donald Trump is willing to sit down with Kim Jong-un, and he's not willing to sit down with Democratic leadership. He said that he's in love with Kim Jong-un, but he's not willing to even talk to Democratic leadership. He yells at Nancy Pelosi and says, "You said something terrible about me. Marcy told me in 3rd grade class. And so in recess, I'm gonna strike back." I mean, you said something terrible about me and you walk out? What kind of a child does that? The press and everyone else, including Democratic leadership, are treating it like things are normal. They're not normal. The emperor has no clothes. The president has no mind.
Yeah, well, so following his abrupt walkout of that meeting, he gave his own press conference, and here's what he had to say.
I just saw that Nancy Pelosi, just before our meeting, made a statement that we believe that the President of the United States is engaged in a cover-up. Well, it turns out I'm the most, and I think most of you would agree to this, I'm the most transparent president probably in the history of this country. Things are going well, and I said, let's have the meeting on infrastructure. We'll get that done easily. That's one of the easy ones. And instead of walking in happily into a meeting, I walk in to look at people that had just said that I was doing a cover-up. I don't do cover-ups. You people know that probably better than anybody.
Okay, so first, just some quick fact checking before Cenk gives you more context into the environment around him as he was giving this press conference. He is not the most transparent president. He is literally, he's literally suing every single financial institution he's ever done business with to prevent the release of any type of financial document that has his name on it. That is the definition of being non-transparent, untransparent. That is exactly what he's doing right now. He also, remember, had his goons go after the schools that he went to prevent the release of his transcript so people wouldn't know what his actual grades were. Yeah. I mean, you are not transparent. You are the antithesis of transparent.
Finally.
Opaque, that is the right word.
Okay, so finally, someone in the mainstream press said it. So New York Magazine's Adam Raymond, in discussing another issue, his golfing trips, which we'll get to later in the program, said, the president's a pathological liar. Thank you, finally, right? Of course he is. He's literally said, according to the Washington Post documentation, over 10,000 lies since he's taken office. I don't know that any other human being can physically even say that many lies in that short period of time. And all he ever does, so he comes out and he says to the press, who he says is the enemy of the people, who he has this incredibly adversarial relationship with. Now, I think, as most of you would admit, I'm the most transparent president ever. No, not a single person in that room would admit that, other than if they work for one of those conservative trash websites, right? So, how does he even say that with a straight face?
I mean, he lies every day with a straight face. He's gotten a lot of practice. So it doesn't shock me or surprise me when he lies. It's brazen, it's laughable, but at the same time, look, I just want to quickly comment on the politics of what's going on and what happened today, because it's, in my opinion, if it was meant to be political and if there was strategy behind what Pelosi and Schumer did today, I think it was a little genius, and I want to give them a little bit of credit. So I don't think it was an accident that Pelosi accused him of a cover-up in a press conference right before this meeting. Everyone knows that Trump has incredibly thin skin. Everyone knows that he likes to throw temper tantrums like a child. And so he did what he did with walking out of that important infrastructure meeting. He had his little meltdown press conference. And then what do you think the Democrats are gonna do? They're gonna have their own press conference where they're gonna poke fun at him and they're gonna make him look like the child that he really is. And here's an example of that. Here's Pelosi talking about Trump bailing.
For some reason, maybe it was lack of confidence on his part, that he really couldn't match the greatness of the challenge that we have. Wasn't really respectful of the Congress and the White House working together. He just took a pass, and it just makes me wonder why he did that. In any event, I pray for the President of the United States.
Okay, that very last part, like I pray for the President of the United States.
No.
I feel like that was gratuitous. Let's move on.
No. I loved it.
You did?
Yeah,
Okay.
and so you know me, not a big fan of Pelosi, to say the least. But this to Pelosi on this one. Seriously, well played. Getting under his skin before the meeting always works. So finally, someone using a little bit of strategy. So credit where credit is due, and then afterwards to come out and say like, to clearly imply there's something wrong with the president, and he wasn't man enough for the challenge.
He was weak.
Yes, thank you. Finally. We've been saying this for 4 years. Don't attack him on, like, it's okay to point out his bigotry, etc. But if you really want to do political damage to him, talk about how weak he is, how insecure he is, what a child he is, etc. So that's what she did there. And even saying, I pray for the president is wonderfully demeaning.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. It just, I know what she's about. So for me, it rubbed me the wrong way. But you're right in that it's gonna work in this, I believe, political strategy. One more video though, and this is Chuck Schumer, because he went a little further than Pelosi in the press conference, and I actually really enjoyed watching what he had to say here.
To watch what happened in the White House would make your jaw drop. We Democrats believe in infrastructure. We believe our roads and bridges need repair. We believe that rural America, as well as inner city America, needs broadband. And so, despite signals in the previous few weeks that he might not be serious, we went forward. We came here very seriously. The president asked in his letter last night, where would Democrats spend the money on infrastructure? I was prepared to give him a 35-page plan detailing this in all the areas I mentioned and more that had the broad support of Senate and House Democrats. We are interested in doing infrastructure. It's clear the president isn't. He is looking for every excuse. But now that he was forced to actually say how he'd pay for it, he had to run away.
Oof, run away, that's a great phrase. We want to provide broadband to rural America, right? Yeah. Now, you can have a debate about how genuine Democrats are, Democratic leadership is when it comes to these issues, but I'm just specifically commenting on the political strategy here. And politically speaking, they are killing it with this type of strategy.
Look, we're the fairest show in America. and so we criticize Schumer and Pelosi when no one else in Washington will. They've shown incredibly weak leadership for a long time. But we would give them praise if they showed strength because we have no bias against them. We just want them to do better. So today, I thought they were wonderful. So they played Trump, he fell right into their trap, and then they made him look like a fool. Yes, give me more of that. Then we'll give you more credit. So now to Trump, he said, well, you can't investigate and legislate simultaneously. It just doesn't work that way. Yes, it does. That you just made that up.
You've been investigated your entire, administration, your entire stint as president.
And not only that, let's look at Republican hypocrisy. They did 9 investigations of Benghazi. They investigated Hillary Clinton's emails the whole time. Should we have stopped doing any legislation? Should we not have done? By the way, as the Republicans were doing investigations, should we not have done the Trump tax cuts for the rich? Then they would be like, no, we can do both at the same time. We can definitely do both at the same time, right? No, that's not a thing. Trump, as usual, made that up, and it's because he's a child. And so now he's saying, no, we're not gonna do any infrastructure. Now look, they probably weren't gonna get a deal anyway. Why? Because are the Democrats genuine? Again, this is a rare case where I think the Democrats are genuine. They do want that infrastructure bill. It doesn't hurt the donors. In fact, it probably helps them, but it also helps real Americans. So it's kind of a win-win. It's kind of easy, but I'll give credit to where credit is due anyway to the Democrats. The Republicans, on the other hand, Trump in specific says, yeah, let's do it, but I want to make sure that all my friends get contracts. It's, by the way, like autocrat 101. It's what like every strongman in every country does. Like, by the way, you know who else does it? The Iranians. They give all the contracts to the Revolutionary Guard. Maduro gives all the contracts to his military guys. So, and now Trump says, I'm gonna give it to all my friends and you're gonna pay tolls the rest of your life. But people hate tolls. And they're like, no, but we gotta funnel the profits to the companies that I choose. Oh, God. So they weren't gonna get it, my guess, my hope was that they were not gonna get a deal on those terms. But for Trump to walk out and say, I'm not going to do infrastructure that would help the American people and that I promised because you're mad at Nancy Pelosi, she was mean to me. That does not play well. You look like a guy. Look, it's not just me. I think that even if you're in the middle or even if you're a Trump supporter, when you say, I'm not gonna do things to help you because Nancy made me angry. That looks terrible. You look like a total fool. And by the way, this is also, it's this terrible strategy all around. You know, he might have also wanted to walk out and think that, oh yeah, this is gonna show them. Apparently there's now reporting that his advisors were like, no, don't walk out and don't give that speech. It's a bad idea. He came with a pre-prepared sign behind it. Wait, if you were just going to do this at the spur of the moment, when did you make the sign? You're gonna be shocked at what the sign said. No collusion, no obstruction.
Oh my God.
What does that have to do with the infrastructure bill, right? Basically, he's saying, if you don't let me get out of jail for free, I'm going to hurt the American people. That's who Donald Trump is. 2 easy ways to follow the Young Turks. One is hit the subscribe button down below, then you're a TYT subscriber. And second is ring the bell. And when you do that on YouTube, you're notified of our videos.